Ooh. Botrix has joined. Ay, ay, ay. Close, close, close. I do not want to work. Saint Lee. All right, that's working, that's working, that's working. Everything's working. This way. All right, weird meeting. Hang on, let me just do this. Why am I getting tagged in things? What is going on here? No, I don't want to be popular. Wait. All right. Make sure you hit the follow button. Newcastle, bit of a weird meeting, blowing a wally gale. Can't show this. How annoying. Soon we might be able to show it. It was, yeah, like 30k an hour, east-southeasterlies, which is basically straight up their backside in the straight, straight in their face, down the back straight, which is the mile, 1,400 metres, sort of 1,200 metres a little bit, and anything longer. They would have had to run into the wind in the back. So, yeah, it's weird. The times have changed again. It looks like they were the sectionals in the straight were a long way out. And it looked like the tempos were a lot slower, but after they've sort of adjusted and yeah, there's a lot of races where they've worked into the wind at the back. So whether the inside dried out and it was harder to run on as the day went on, not really sure. The quality of some of these races definitely doesn't match up with the times they've run. So I'm a bit skeptical about the whole meeting. Is this working? I think it's working. Why is Twitter not working? Now look. YouTube? Hello? Yeah, it's working. Why didn't you message me when I asked? I've had to. Oh, God. Been at the dentist. I've just bowled 16 games of bowling. I'm actually cast. I'm actually cast. Yeah, so I don't think, I'm not sure about any strong bias. The wind was certainly there, but it sort of got offset. But yeah, sort of horses that were working into the back, be careful. Be kind to horses outside lead, sort of working into that wind, I guess. But it's sort of strange. There's some horses sat wide and ran on, and we'll chat about it. Camel didn't put a dent in Jimmy. It didn't verify. It didn't. Thank goodness. Have you seen the news story? I have, bro. I have not. I have not. Let me get through this. All right. I can't show the replay, so we'll just talk about it. I can show bits and pieces. The 2-year-old was. I can show the 2-year-old. I can show parts of the 2-year-old. Good footage.
And they're all set to go. There's the light. Ready for the Max Lees Classic.
Pop, pop, pop. So I think there's a couple of good, interesting horses. The winner's very obvious. It jumped well, even though Darren said it didn't. Led and just too fast. You just got to be careful with these 900-metre races, I think, because they're sort of their own beast. 900 metres certainly doesn't translate to even 1,000 metres sometimes, and definitely sort of 1,100, 1,200. They're totally different. No knock on the winner. It's run fast time, but as I said, it sort of was pretty much straight downwind for the majority of the race, crosswind and then downwind. So be careful about that. The two horses that definitely look like they can improve are Mystical and Jaipur Maison, who Mystical's back in here on the inside in the blue, and Jaipur Maison's back out here, sort of got stuck in the straight. This is Mystical in the purple, and Jaipur Maison's in the Pegum colours of the red with the white and the blue and the green sleeves. He sort of, I'm not sure, gets stuck in an awkward spot, tries to follow through the fence, which is the best way to sort of usually make ground in these 900s. And when Jaipur pulls out after coming in here off the heels of Mystical, Mystical decides it wants to go there, cuts it off, then it goes back to the inside, and they both finish the race off really well. So, yeah, it's very hard to do this much ducking and weaving in a 900-metre race, especially when they're running home in fast times and they're running fast times. So, yeah, long story short, I think those horses went okay. And I actually think there's a sleeper back in the pack, Dynamic Diva, who is a country-trained horse. Tony Ball trains at Reece Jones Road. It actually jumped okay from the outside draw and was dragged right out of the race and actually hit the line all right. So I think if it went back to a country 2-year-old, it could win straight away, Dynamic Diva. So, you know, if it matches up in another sort of city race, or this is basically a metropolitan race, $160,000 2-year-old open, probably going to struggle. But if it goes back to country grade, and sometimes those 2-year-olds come up pretty soft, it could do some damage, Dynamic Diva. So I think it was worth following. Obviously, the winner's gone okay, and Mystical and Jaipur had their chance. Pomelo Chamomile had its chance. Elio had its chance. Tenenbaum finished off all right down the outside after jumping well. It could settle closer to. I did my nuts on Angel and Yorkshire. Oh, geez, that's no good. Have you seen the new story? Did we just talk about that? Yeah, we did. So, yeah, that's the 2-year-old. That is the 2-year-old. The next race, I don't think really much went on here. Very smelly race. They went about 5 lengths above to the 800 and 7 lengths above to the 600. So they've gone quick into that breeze. That mile start, as you said, is pretty much straight into the wind for the first whatever. So very difficult to sustain a run into that and continue on. So King of Florida led. It's run last. Broadway Dancer sort of missed the kick, bumped up the inside. It's run third last. A lot of the horses are up on speed. Prince of Sort sat outside leaders, run 6th. So I'm very iffy on this race. Japan is a horse that's obviously very honest, but it just looked too big a performance. So I'm very wary of the race, and the time's very fast. So to me, I think a lot of people overplay the race. And whilst Japan has done a good job and run some good sections and sustained a run the last 800 metres from the back, it was definitely pace assisted. And I just don't know, the race just looks dodgy to me. Perfect Justice was good, worked early, then slotted in and sort of ran a pretty solid second, only beaten half a length. Strawberry Impact's just a nightmare of a horse to sort of catch. I think it's a 12 to 1400 metre horse. I don't think it's a miler. I think it's sort of a back-marking big track. It'll win a couple of races, but it'll be very hard to catch horse. Southern Charm poked up the inside after being slow out, and Simon Show was okay up on speed. But I think this race is very smelly. I'm very, very wary of trying to follow horses out of this race positively. Everyone agree? Beautiful. Good agreement there. Good. On to the next. Another race that looks smelly, that this time's been brought back. The time was actually a lot faster originally, so here it makes more sense now. They went 2 lengths above to the 800, back to about 1 length to the 6, and then come home about a length below, which again is pace assisted. So not ideal if you're not sprinting home pretty quickly with that wind up your backside. Upwardly Mobile just found the right race, wide with cover and sort of just won. And then behind was really ugly and smelly. I thought sort of Credit Controller Wanjad, who missed the kick and came with a run and then peaked. I think it needs to come back in distance. I think it's a bit like Strawberry Impact, needs probably Ramwick 12 to 1400 metres in a fast tempo for it. And things to go right. Need a Miracle wasn't bad after wide, no cover at 100 to 1. Off the scale was poor, very weird horse. It's a horse that sort of popped up on my radar very early in its career off the scale and never really done a lot. Even when it's won races, it's sort of had to have things go its way, well ridden, poor races. I don't think it's got much upside off the scale, and that hurts me to say that because it's a horse I thought was going to be okay, but I just don't think it's much good. I don't think this race is much good. Again, very wary of the form coming out of this. It was just Upwardly Mobile by default, and that was kind of how it worked out. So yeah, I don't think this is a strong highway. Everyone agree? Beautiful. Happy with that. Lucky next. Agreed, Saintly, agreed. Beautiful, everyone agreed. Beautiful, beautiful. All one of us. Another race that looks bodgy. Can I show this one? I'll show it. What's the matter? We're going to get arrested. I'm just going to move in with Saintly so it doesn't make any difference. I was on Ruby Serve here, and I thought it was very disappointing considering the run it had, and it sort of loomed up. And again, that makes this race look very dicey to me. They went out slow here, 4 lengths below, 5 lengths below to the 600, 2 lengths above only off a slow tempo with that wind assistance. So this race is very sketchy. Again, I'd be keen to sort of be against this form going forward. Miss Hades had the best run you've ever seen. Ruby Service sort of lands, lobs up like it's going to win and then doesn't want to go on with it. Miss Bustling sat wide, no cover and battled on. Why Marie missed the kick and was only fair and sort of Dances with Hooves was out the back. And I think it's probably the one that you could follow if you want to follow one, but into the right race. Yeah, I backed it each way, so I sort of got out of it. Agree, Paul, but, you know, it is what it is, right? Yeah, I thought Ruby Serve was just going to let down and just win here, and I still don't know what happened. It's a dead set looks like it dug its toes in. The way it went first up on the Kensington track, like it should have just put these horses away. And it's not as if Made of Moolah kicks. They sort of come home above standard, but not really. Like it just stopped. It just dug its toes in. Like very, very weird run, Ruby Serve. I don't know what's going on there. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Like the distance, everything, it should be fine. So yeah, I think this race is pretty poxed. It's a Wonder had the dream run last start and sort of got found out. I don't think there were too many excuses there. And as I said, sort of Dances with Hooves, maybe if it went to the right race, could be interesting now. But yeah, overall, you know, Made of Moolah's won because it's got that good tactical speed, put itself in the right spot. Nothing could go past it, basically. I can't understand how a horse can go that well first up, and it did have excuses last start, and then it goes into this run with just the perfect run in transit and gets, you know, well, it got to the leader, basically. I think it nearly hit the front. Stopped. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but is what it is. So, yeah, again, probably going to be negative about that race. Miss Hades was only first up, so you're going to be sort of careful, but just be wary of the form coming out of it. I don't think it's strong. This race is the one that's sort of, g'day, Astro. This is the race that's mentally got me. I thought these horses visually went well. I was a little bit disappointed in Rotogilla its last 100 or so, and I just thought Meridiana was too strong. But they've again done not a lot here. They've gone 2 lengths below to the 8, 3.5 below to the 6. They've only come home a length above, and you've got horses like Oakville Wallaby, who is slow out and misses the kick, is strong late. And you've got Eclair Encore, who was reverse parked and sort of took half the field out early, strong late. And Zuna coming up the fence, strong late. Here, Fear No Evil, who went like a rocket first up with a lot in its favour, looked like it had the death wobbles in the straight and was going to fall over. And Rapidash didn't finish the course with cardiac arrhythmia. So whilst after the race, I thought Meridiana was a horse right on the up and could go on to better than this. And I thought Rotogilla was a horse on its way to better races than this. There's a bit of a bit of a sucky feeling about this race too, that it's no good, and it's more about those horses that are closing off at the same time. I thought they were it's more about these horses here, like Oakfield, Wallaby, Eclair Encore, and Zuna back to the inside here, that finish off in a similar fashion to Meridiana. I'm not saying it's a bad horse or it's bad form. I thought these horses would clear out and run 1-2, but I thought they'd do it in better fashion, if that makes sense. And it just worries me that these horses that I don't think are overly gifted, they're not bad horses, but I thought these horses could go on to sort of black type racing for sure. Sort of Peace Officer said this horse got the death wobbles. They're not really getting away from them, and late, if anything, sort of Rhoda has stopped. So yeah, I think I'm not sure. It's just such a weird day, and that wind and whatever, that I'm a little bit in Paul's corner, that the whole meeting's a bit of a head scratcher, because the times and things are very difficult. Obviously, fluky winds can have different effects on different races. Maybe the track was drying out significantly later in the day. Yeah, there's a lot of things that could have gone on. So, but yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in what they've done on paper in that race. Yeah, it went great there, didn't it, for Wallaby? And it was only second up, so I don't know, maybe they'll come out and go like rockets, all those horses, and it'll completely turn that race on its head. But just sort of wary of it at the moment. I'm not sort of... You've got to be leaning towards negative on it, but just wary of that race anyhow. Sun God in the 1850. For us diehard Monday night reviewers, I dead set had a hard on for this horse after its last start and was ready to back it wherever it went. It was an okay result, but I didn't go anywhere near as hard as I should have. And the way the race was run, Jesus, like, this is what I don't get at the moment. The race is completely stacked up. They've gone 9.5 lengths below to the 800, and they've dropped nearly another second in the next 200 metres. So they've gone 14.5 lengths below to the 600, and then come home 10 above. So they've absolutely ripped home. I don't know what the raw time was home, but it must have been crazy, which absolutely plays into the hands of this horse, Sun God. And it was basically unbeatable from that spot. Like, Pocketing's run the 6 fastest last 200 of the day, and it's been left late. The sit sprinters definitely came to the fore. Hollywood Hero was 3 back the fence. It was a little bit unlucky getting to the outside. Kind Words had its chance. Looked like it was probably the winner there at the 400 metre mark, and it was only plain. Horses out the back that certainly went well. Belle de Tel should be ready to go now. Glad You Think So was disappointing from outside leader. Unlimited went well after it sort of failed last start on that wet track. It was back on track. This race is a bit of a take turns race, but I do think the winner's a good horse. I just wonder whether the winner's a 1400 metre miler. It just went so well first up at Warwick Farm. It's got such a big turn of foot off these slower tempos, whether it's suited at a shorter distance, and if they sort of put some speed into the race, I think it'll be able to cope with that. Whereas last start on that heavy track, I know it was hard to make ground wide, and that was kind of why I was in love with this horse off that meeting. That I just think that maybe 1400 mile, like, I think it could measure up to a good race, a good handicap race over a mile. Just I wonder whether I don't know if he'll stretch it out to 2,000 metres again. It'll be interesting to see what they do with this horse, because I think he's a pretty good horse, Sun God. Pocketing's ready to go now. Hollywood Heroes runs back have all been good. Definitely had a nice run here. Said Kind Words was average. Barazin was good for something easier. Unlimited ready. So most of these horses, I think, are dangerous in similar grade, but that's what they sort of end up in. It's just sort of this sort of situation where in this race, they've gone ridiculously slow, basically taken every horse out of the race that was further back than second. 1-2 have sprinted home, horses out the back. Next time, there might be a race where there's 2 or 3 leaders in it, and it, all this form can completely be turned on its head. The back markers can get into the race. But, yeah, Sun God's got this really nice turn of speed. Definitely looks like it's a firm track horse as well. So Yeah, I think it's a pretty good horse, Sun God. You know, you love this idea, Johnny. Text Volandis immediately. Some of these tracks are capable of different circumferential courses that for a day make it fairer. Start with the sprints and progress to longer races. Mate, they're lucky if their races are actually the right distances. So, you know, changing things throughout the day would be a disaster for yeah, like I said, it's hard for them to put the gates in the right spot for most times. You'd never back pocketing. There's not, yeah, I don't know that, yeah, pocketing will win a race or two, but I agree with you. It's not a horse you want to go looking for. You know, it's been out sprinted here. If they went a bit quicker, something would probably, you know, beat it as well. So I get what you're saying, and I agree with it. Mr. Waterville, I thought it retired. I just saw its name there and I thought it retired. Each race should take the final straight rail out, but holy shit. Trying to confuse me. So yeah, that race was okay, I think. I think that'll be a good form race, similar. Spring Stakes, they went very quick here, about 9 above to the 8, 6 above to the 6, and they came home about 4 below. Obviously, again, downwind, so pretty strong tempo here. The race is run, you know, 2.5 above overall. The winner was just super strong. That's the best thing to like about it. It was, you know, it's obviously pace assisted, if anything. Well, it was pace assisted. But geez, it's a horse. It's a very likable horse. It's a very likable horse. I do read the chat backwards. I am backwards. It's a very likable horse. And what I like about this horse in particular is, whilst it's pace assisted, it's not got too far back. It's travelled on the bit, so it's not a mad back marking slug that's been suited by the tempo here. Rachel's dead set, ridden it very well, cuddled him to the 400 metre mark and then allowed him to go through his gears, and he's come off 2 very slowly run races into a fast run race here, and he was able to, you know, he was beaten over a shorter distance first up, but then sort of railed through and won well at Wyong in a small field. Then he's be able to come here to adapt to a fast run race over a mile. Yeah, there's a lot to like about this horse, and like physically, he looks like he's got a lot of maturing to do, and he'll be a better horse, you know, sort of next time in and the one after that. So yeah, he's a very likable horse. This Green Spaces, I think he's in the right camp. You know, Björn's handling these Godolphin horses really well. So again, it's a little bit smelly that you've got. Who have you got? You got Bird Whistle, who's run second, was beaten in a maiden first up at Scone, but was absolutely butchered there. Sorry, won a maiden, then it went first up in a Class 1 at Scone, was beaten there, but it was butchered. It was a terrible ride. I don't know what he was trying to do on it. And might be a decent horse. Quite one-paced, I think. Out and distance will definitely suit this horse, Bird Whistle. Long Legs was just carved. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing pressing on long legs second up at a mile. And, you know, Grand Prairie looked out on its feet after pulling in the run. Don't know what it was doing in this race either. I tell you, don't these Yulong horses... Yeah, he is kicking goals, Lock, I agree. These Yulong horses, like Treasure of the Moment, there's a lot of horses like this horse here, like Grand Prairie, they just love... They hate spelling them. They love just go one more, one more, one more. It's very interesting. I sort of see it more and more. These horses of Yulongs, you're like, well, it'll be going for a break now. Nah, around it goes again, around it goes again. They're obviously very adverse to putting them in the paddock too early, and they're not scared to race them. Probability theory was okay. Verity was disappointing. I thought very plain. I think maybe the blinkers going on in hindsight was them thinking maybe we'd try and squeeze one more run out of Verity. I'd be extremely surprised if we see Verity again this prep, and I think it's a horse worth keeping an eye on next time, because if it strengthens up, I think it's a good horse, Verity, for giving this run. And as I said, I just think in hindsight maybe the blinkers were an attempt to try and squeeze one more run out of it. Hetzendorf pulled up with a respiratory noise, and Rosencanter missed the start, and it just all went pear-shaped there. So a few forgives. I think the race will be okay. The time's good off fast speed, but the winner's definitely the horse that does have all the upside. Snowden sucks. You tell and verify. Grand Prairie has been spelled. It has been spelled. Who beat Nature Strip? Fedora was one of my favourite horses. Grand Prairie's it's a colt though, right? Surely they can't send Grand Prairie to stud. He's going a little bit better now, Snowden. I tell you, and it pains me to say it because he's driven me mad more than most, but it is like Tom Sherry, disappeared for 3 months, went to some Buddhist monk jockey school in the middle of Tibet, and someone gave him a what do they call it, an ability transplant, and he's come back and he's a totally different rider. Tom Sherry, he used to find dead ends in one horse races, and now he looks insanely good on most of his rides. You sort of got to take it on face value at the moment. Maybe while his confidence up, he's a different rider, but he's doing a great job at the moment. Tom Sherry. Fedora. Here we go. The Mighty Cold Crusher. They've gone 3 lengths above to the 8, 5 lengths above to the 6, and 5 lengths above home for a quick little 11 lengths above. So the time's very fast here. Again, it doesn't look it. I didn't think. It doesn't look like they're going quick. It doesn't look like they're sprinting up the straight. There's horses sort of closing from everywhere, and the time's crazy fast. So again, this day sort of mentally cripples me. Estadio Mastala was awesome again. Well, where's the Stewards Portage? Stewards Portage? Stewards Portage? I think he might have. I think he might have just been playing a lot of, Grand Champion jockey. He might have played a bit of COD. He might have played a bit of something, and he's got his wind up. Stadio Mastala's right down the outside. The back one here, it went huge from the back. Its 2 runs back have been great. Uncle Joey's just too good. Straight to the front with Cold Crusher. And as I said, I didn't look like they were going quick, but it's maintained a fast tempo throughout. Clear Thinking from the back was good. Sofrado was good. See, again, this sort of sucks me in. I know Sofrado's not a bad horse, but it's not beaten fire and it's strong late. It just scares me. It doesn't make sense. Brudenell finishing close up, even though it had a good run. Fearson's run out of its skin from the back, missing the start. It's back in here. Sorry, it's back in here, Fearson. It's run some really fast sections up the fence. Straka went like a busted Yorkshire, pulled up with cardiac arrhythmia. So again, even that's the favourite pulling up out of the race. Again, I can't. He kills me, the rider. He doesn't suit these sorts of horses. It's Cold Crusher in front. Brudenell, the local horse giving chase. Cold Crusher brave in the lead. Infancy was all right from the back. It was also, I sort of backed at 50s. Credited every chance. See, that's Sofrado coming through there. Infancy at 50s. Fearson. Which one's Fearson? Fearson's that's Darnation. The Fearson's the one on the inside. Just, I don't know. It's just something not right about this race when you look at fast times or whatever. So I think the ratings guys are going to get this race wrong too, and they're going to overrate it. Definitely not knocking the winner, but I'd be just wary of horses like Accredited, Brudenell, maybe Sofrado, all these horses that sort of sucked up the fence, coming up a little bit too short next time. Geez, it was well back, Clear Thinking. They absolutely smashed it, and this horse will be off the map, but it probably did something most of them didn't, and they haven't slowed down, and it's made ground from the back, so it's just completely airborne, Stadio Mastala, but geez, it's not an easy horse to catch. Yeah, 11, no, they've gone 6 lengths above, 5 lengths above to the 600 metre mark, 11 lengths above, 11 lengths above standard for the grade overall, 10.7. So it's a very fast time. They've gone quick the whole way. They basically went 5 lengths above to the 6 and five lengths above from the 6. He's up and about, Joe. I tell you, there's something just to his. You should recreate the weekend's races in anime Uma Musumi. What the hell is that? I don't know what it is, but I want to do it. It sounds like something I want to eat. The Beaufort, do we even bother? The Beaufort. They go out steady here, even time, drop the tempo from the 8 to the 6. They drop from even time to 4.5 lengths below, come home 3 and above. So just a sit sprint. Asterix actually been a horse I've been trying to catch at big prices, and then I just hated this race, so I dropped off it. And then I wanted to punch myself in the head when it landed in the 1-1. Finally lobbed a race. I'm not sold on any of these horses. God's Window, Future History had its chance in front. Age of Sail drags the race down for me. Fujita San drags the race down. Mason Louis sat in the 1-1, was only average. I think it needs a spell. Naval College sat outside the leader and was playing. I couldn't hate a race more. I hate all these horses. I hate the race. I hate everything about it. Happy to move on. It's a game where the anime girls run like horses and you can train them. It's got a huge following. Holy shit. You can train them. Thought Hippo went a touch quick on Future History around the bend the first time. Well, they went like even time into the wind. Well, so they've gone pretty quick and then slowed up. He's got a breather at the back, but you know, maybe damage was done, but it's definitely had its chance. The Lucky Last, I'm going to highlight the start here just because I'm an evil human. I think this horse, this is probably my horse to follow out of the meeting, is Midnight Opal. I think it's a one-pace horse that needs to be ridden aggressively early to sort of control the race, and certainly wasn't given the opportunity to do that. It did look unlucky, but I thought it was more pilot error than anything. So it's in here. It's in gate 3.
Starter has his hand
Settle down, Darren.
on the button, just waiting for the all clear from behind with movement in the gates. The gates clang back.
Jumps as well as Brave 1, if anything. And you can see he just puts the handbrake on straight away. Literally puts the handbrake on to drop in behind. I'm not saying, you know, this race had quite a few leaders and it looked like there was going to be fast tempo. So, you know, maybe that I just hate that. Like, look at it. So keen. It definitely could have led, I think. And now it's sort of in behind Keen. And then if you sort of go to the end, McAvoy's in behind here. And to me, it's not a sit sprint horse. They do go sort of a length and a half above into that breeze. It's only sort of starts halfway down the straight, so it's not as bad as the other races. 2 lengths above to the 6 and 1.5 lengths below. So this is not a great race. It is a solid tempo. I thought Just Party was well ridden and it's knocked up. It was a bit plain for mine. Yeah, like he's sort of just, I don't know what he's doing in there. He's flapping around in there. He eventually pulls around the heels of these things and then gets going late. The Australian Bloodstock colours back here. And still hits the line. I don't think it's a great race, but I just don't think this horse was suited the sort of the way it went. I think it needs to be fired out of the gates. If Nash went on at next start in a wide draw, I'd be keen to back this horse, Midnight Opal, as long as they have a shot at the title and actually roll forward. But the race itself, pretty plain. I think, you know, not a lot between them, pretty much how it worked out. You know, She-Hub's run 4th. It's the only horse out of the race I probably want to follow. Marymount Buller went fine first up. Just Party, I thought, was just okay. If it knocked up, you could be forgiving, but it's just a bit of a nightmare of a horse. Sadaki's, it's just a big price. The winners won well enough, but it had sort of had a better setup than most and actually was ridden positively, whereas last start they did the opposite, which I don't think was to its advantage. Ka Ying Futanari for the win next year. Who the hell's Ka Ying Futanari? It does, Paul, but I just think, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think this horse was just completely unsuited. people will find it. It was obviously held up and whatever, but I don't think they'll. I think I like horses that people. I don't mind when people find horses when their disadvantage was not as obvious as what their sort of unlucky part of their race was. I think it's definitely a horse that's not suited, held up, and sprint flashy late. It's a horse that needs to be up on speed, rolling, kick off it, and hold on. Melbourne. Josh Parr is an honest man. Pericles nearly beat best horse in Australia in all-out war. Parr admitted he went slightly early in the King Charles. He did, yeah. Well, and that's it. It's a bit. I wish Josh was riding it that day, but that's why I thought it was an obvious error from Mellon to go a little bit early. All right. All field. Mayor of Mount Bullshit can go to Pow. Wolf isn't even close to what? I didn't think there was much in this race worth looking at overly. The win of Skipper's Run was Black Run was good. Second up or third up, 2,400 metres. Certainly a horse that looks like it's going to win more races. I thought he made a mistake taking a sit on Black Run, and sort of got through late, and it was strong. I think it's a horse that'll certainly win a few more races around this 2,400 metre distance range. Looks like one of the better horses that Annabelle's brought over here. The form sort of held up pretty well. That was a Sun God form in Sydney. Skipper's Canyon was awesome from the back. What are we on here? What race was it? 3. All roll.
The nation's call. High Arm Proud a length away. Doug.
Ooh, missed the kick and did have a bit of a pace advantage, but they kept going. They go about 5 lengths above to this 600 and then come home in even time, fast time overall. So this is Skipper's Canyon back here last. The Waller horse, what's it called? It's got the weird name that always drives me insane. Sigiria Rock had every chance, given an absolute perfect ride, very well set up, set up to peak off the back of a slow run last start, and it was like 3rd or 4th up. I think it was 4th up. So he'd had the absolute ideal setup. This horse was first up from a spell at 1,800 metres or 1,700 metres and had to circle from the back off the back of a fast speed where they did slow down, but they still ran home in decent time. So yeah, this was a pretty good win. Old Nico Noonan found it. I thought he was completely mad. First up 1,700 off a couple of jump outs. But, really strong win. Certainly wasn't entitled to win, I didn't think. And it definitely wasn't easy to circle from back and wide either. So, a pretty good win. Off-season horse that, probably can go to a similar race again and do the same thing, you'd imagine. I doubt it'll be any exciting prize. Everyone in the world will find it. But, yeah, pretty good win first up. Fangirl. What? I'm confused. I don't even know what's going on here. What else have we got? Boston Rocks. This was an interesting one to have a look at. I remember watching it live. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? Staying off the fence. I was like, he's giving the run to the favourite. And yeah, I like even back a little bit further. Why is it so loud? Too loud.
Boston Rocks.
Yeah, like he had the opportunity here to follow behind Beast Mode, who you would think would take it far enough, and sort of pocketing Hedge would have been a better play. But yeah, as it turns out, he knew a lot more than me. What's his name? Who wrote it? Michael D. Yeah, I thought he was mad not cutting to the inside and putting the favourite three back the fence and staying one off. But it turned out, not saying it was a winning move because it won pretty easy, but yeah, it just doesn't make sense that he didn't take that run and come off the leader's heels to me. It was a very strange play, but it worked out well because the Hedge was stuck in that pocket and had to go back to the inside. So yeah, I think the right horse won either way. I think if he had gone back to the inside and followed through and come off the heels, it would have won just as easy. But it's not much of a horse for mine, Boston Rocks, and this was probably the best I've ever seen it go. So best horse over a mile in the world. Yeah, that was what it was like. It was like a valley ride, wasn't it? It was an interesting one, but a strong win. I don't think Hedge was the greatest thing beaten in 1,000 years, and Hedge is a bit of a suck of a creature. Next is the Boston Stakes, the Summon Stakes, nothing there. I didn't think. Very average race. They go 4 lengths below, 6 lengths below to the 800. They come home below. Very slow time off a very slow tempo. Pondalawi, I don't want to watch the replay to see Pondalawi being very unlucky, but the race is so bad, I don't think it's worth even looking at. Definitely a negative race. Aviatress's race, again, was pretty average, I think. Photograph went okay. Aviatress went well from the back, but sucky horses. Vestas was... It was a weird one. I don't understand... I don't understand this. Just a whinge. Let's have a whinge. Why not? It's all about whinging. Where have we got? We got race 5, race 6. So, jockey says Vestas near the 400 metre mark bumped. When questioned, Rider Ben Melham stated, despite beginning well, it had been the intention to settle back in the field in order to finish the race off strongly. Melham explained Vestas never travelled inside runners and has performed at its best in the past when able to make its runs to the outside of the field. So why did he go to the fence on it?
Ready to go and racing immediately. She's bullet.
So why does he jump very well? And then, so he's in the middle of the field and wide and up the front. He drags it back, and all he's doing is looking over his shoulder to see how far back he can reverse park it. And like he's 3 wide, if anything, there ends up back on the inside in between horses. When he could have sort of been anywhere up here, he could have been on the back of She's Bulletproof, he could have been anywhere. So, yeah, I don't understand how the steward sort of can take that comment seriously when he had every opportunity to be wide and he was the one who sort of parked it in between horses. Anyway, the horse is a nightmare. It's obviously got a huge engine. It's obviously got some head noise and what have you. But, yeah, the Aviatress was good first up. Photograph was good from the back.
Aviatress coming through with Proved. She's Bulletproof, 100 to go. Popper Warden Proved back on the inside. Aviatress flying. Proved.
This fence is always on. New trainer, Boston Rocks. I think he'll keep on to that one, won't he? So that was that race. What do we got next? She's an Alibi was awesome, but very slow tempo, just a complete joke. These fillies races were just run at terribly slow tempos, basically the whole way through. The Princess Series in Sydney, whatever that was, at the 1,000 Guineas was horrifically slowly run. And then the Sandown Guineas here, obviously not a fillies race, but just horribly slowly run. 11 lengths slow to the 800, 14 lengths slow to the 600 metre mark. Zero pressure whatsoever, and She's an Alibi was able to just rip home. Obviously, she's got a big engine.
Sandown, Guineas.
Obviously, she's a talented horse, and Moody's put a few lengths on her for sure. Where she gets to next prep, very interesting. Just looks a progressive sort of horse, line finding sort of horse that looks like she'll just continue to improve. So the race was horrific for sure, but you know, not many horses can do this to decent horses, and probably what you'd call them, isn't it? Decent horses that were behind. There's no superstars there. Burma Star tagline. There's nothing out of this world called Da Vinci. They're all solid horses, but you'd have to say this horse is definitely a Group 1 competitive horse. You know, it's the way she pins her ears back. She can sustain a run. She builds through her gears. You know, there's plenty to like about everything she does to the field. Late there, she does run the fastest 6.4 and 2 of the day, which you expect off the back of a slow tempo, but she still did it. Great record, Prove. Yeah, Prove was a big price in that race. I hated the race, but... next, Jimmy Star.
Award third from Callio, then called Da Vinci.
I don't know whether he butchered this or wrote it like God.
Right there, and they're racing. Beautiful lines.
So Jimmy jumps in front.
In Rock just took.
He's got, what's that inside him? It's not fast. That's that thing of Annabelle's. What's it called? Mighty Ulysses inside him. It's just to do is not fast. Pinstripe's not fast, so he could have crossed all of these horses very easily, and he decides to drag it out. So I don't know what the go was here. It's not as if they're going that fast. I didn't think she'd be able to hold Evaporate, and she definitely does go quick. 5 lengths above to the 8, 5.4 above to the 6, and then 1.2 above. They run fast time, but I find it hard to see this as a good ride. He's just reverse parked and deleted poor old Pinstriped out of the race. You know, maybe third the fence wasn't the right place to be, and he thought he had that much on him, but he doesn't even travel kindly. It's a huge win. Who really cares at the end of the day? Yeah, I think he's the best sprinter in the country. It's not a really hard decision or a bold decision. And as I said, like, I'm still coming to terms with having my absolute balls on him to beat Priasa second up, and getting reverse parked 37 lengths off the lead, and now it's jumping in front every race that it jumps in, just to drive me completely insane.
100 metres to go. Elected a quarter Angel Capital. Jimmy's too good. Jimmy Star second.
But he's dominant there. They go for spells now, I assume. I don't think there's anything, unless he goes to WA or something with Angel Capital. There's no reason for any of these horses to run around, I don't think. He stuck on well after setting a fast speed. They're just all three very good horses. Yeah, but even if you know that, Paul, why would you drag a horse back to set at a bigger task? If you think you've got that much on him, wouldn't you just land where you land, be positive, and just ride it like the best horse? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Just way too good. Regardless, Inkaruna was good. Fasty sort of tempo. They slowed the speed between the 8 and the 6, and then Inkaruna sort of went through its gears. Solid enough win. Don't think there was much worth looking at that. And then taking in the last was okay. Couple of decent runs from the back there. What was there? Dark Simba somewhere was a good little clean out run. May as well watch it. There was nothing in the Inkaruna race, was there? Oh, that Tane or Laley, just a nightmare of a horse. It'll do something. At some point, it'll pop up and jam you. There was a horse out the back. Was it Hey Jesse? There were a couple of horses there that ran okay. I'll look at it quickly.
Needing it out, and then came around her Inkaruna.
This thing, Tane or Lily, it's gonna get the one run it needs one day and win a decent race. Just ran straight up their backsides here. Horse bumping out the back. Hey Jesse here in the, whose colours are they? Hayes colours. Ben Allen, Dominic Sutton trains. I can't remember the Maroney colour. I can't remember what their colours are. It does a decent job from back, sort of bumping. What was the point? Oh, that was, I did have on a whinge in this race. I do like a whinge. Go to Hong Kong to take on Kaying. I'd do it. I'd send Jimmy Star to Hong Kong if it was mine. I'd love it. Tell me why you would bother running Cantiamo. Why would you bother running Cantiamo in this race if you're going to ride it like this? So it's out here in the Frank Cook colours, in the yellow cap with the maroon and white cross or whatever it is. So it's out here. It led down the straight last start. Obviously, it drew a bad gate here. But to do what they did there, sort of drag it 27 lengths last, and then just sit on the fence. Last, back here last, and it's run the 7th fastest last 200 of the day back here. Like, why would you waste a run? Why would it go around? If you're going to drag it 27 lengths off the lead, what was the point in actually taking your part in the field? Anyway, that was my whinge on that race. My Gladiola goes for a spell. Kajenga's a solid horse. The winner's a solid horse. Nothing too exciting there. It was just flat, my Gladiola. I think it just come off a grand final and had nothing left. I don't think Inside Draw really suited it either, but it definitely was disappointing either way. But not surprising, it's obviously going for a spell. There was nothing really here. Just quickly look at this last 600.
Shadow behind them from Mow Down Road Cone Stylish, 2 lengths Spione.
They go about half a length above to the 8, slow right down between the 8 and the 6. So again, they allowed all these sort of back markers to get into the race cheaply after doing a bit of work early. Not a great tactic. And then they sprint home in even time. The race was a bit of a nothing race. Somewhere was good from the back in the green. Here just sort of had a barrier trial. Road Cone was all right. I just treat this race as a bit of a barrier trial race. There's a few horses here that are only first up or second up. There are quite a few first up horses in this race, so I treat them as barrier trials, and they sort of went okay. Those horses, Dark Simba, just a bit of a nothing race, but plenty of horses that will improve off the back of that run. Stylish was first up. Yeah, I think I think plenty of winners will come out of that race, even though it's not a strong race on paper. Sort of treating it as a glorified barrier trial. What are the races this week? Are there any? WA Guineas, that's not very exciting. Cranbourne Cup, that's not very exciting. What the hell's the Meteorite? What is that? Need some luck. Was this in Kembla? Is that a new race? On the Gong Day, they've called the Meteorite. Or is that somewhere else? A railway? Peppery proportion is just a wide draw bully. Draws inside, he's a nightmare. He can't get going, doesn't get to build his revs up. Slot racing Cranbourne, are you serious? Called the Meteorite. That's hilarious. Slot race at Cranbourne. Oh my God. Beauty charge, soft love, Jesus Christ. You'd think if it gets onto a dry track, it'll just improve again. Need some luck. Zoo Sensation's about 27th up. Arkansas Kids, off a freshen. Nadal is just a Nadal. Jigsaw's the one pace things. Hedged, ugh. This is the horse with all the upside and need some luck. $6 for a decent price. Nadal. Been scratched 37 times since it won this race last year. The Gong. Gringotts. Gringotts coming off the grand final. Surely they won't back up at Stadio Mastala. Surely. Harvey Time, the old nightmare. Duke de Sessa, what the hell? Why is it running in the Gong first up? What do they got Duke de Sessa in work for? What possible reason would they have to be bringing Duke de Sessa in now? Seems very weird. Territory Express is a nightmare, and More Victorious was a complete forgive first up, but Hard to back off that. Stapati, ugh. Osipenka, ugh. Sabaj certainly won't run. You wouldn't think it wouldn't be $21 if it was running Sabaj. Detonated Jack, Ducasse, Now Gold Hope, the usual suspects. Ugh. Sandpaper, Shadizi, ugh, ugh, ugh. Ugh. That doesn't look a very exciting race. The Gong. The Warra. LC 1,000 metres. It went good the other day, this horse. Black Cloud, a little deep. A little deep's interesting. Catch the Glory. Jesus. What's this race worth? $1 billion? How much is the Warra worth? $2 billion? The Illawarra Mercury Gong, $1 million, $580,000 to the winner. Hilarious. I haven't even got it in there. What is it? Or is it a benchmark 78 or something? The Warra Group 3, $300,000. It's a Wednesday race. Zealously won a Wednesday race 2 starts ago. Sunrise. That's a Group 3 for 300 grand. What the? Oh my God. Is that a dog race? That's not very exciting. Jockey String. Shartin. We're into Shartin now. Oh, there's not much on this week. That was a very lackluster review show, but it is what it is. Anything else to look at? Anything you want me to... Any questions? Where's old mate? Oh my God. Nomination extended for the Warra, 300,000. Must be ringing. That'll be on the front page of the paper tomorrow. Ringing around for the field leaked for the Warra. I think we've quietened off this week. Everything's coming to a halt a little bit. The old Carnival. Did Headwall win the Warra? Did it? Who is better over 1,600? I'd say that Depth of Character's got a lot more upside than Osipenko and in better form. I wish Depth of Character ran in Melbourne last start. It ran like 4th or 5th in the Golden Eagle. That's got to be better form than that. Osipenko race was just terrible. Ionomerc's gone to the railway. That's just weird. Cool Storm, the midweek horse, the country horse. I reckon Rockfest can knock off the favourite in the WA Guineas. Rockfest. Now we're talking. Posty. At the moment, Posty, I'm forced to watch every race in Perth going, I wonder what Posty's on here. Rockfest. 3 starts. First 2 starts, 1 on wet tracks.
About to go. In Bridgeport, who's up there, handily placed, travelling 4th in front of Genevieve.
Be careful.
It's a compact affair. And a half away, Guard the Moolah coming to the host. Snuck a wing, fully tested. I'm Genevieve, headed the remainder, but Rockfest sprints clear. Best hooked out 3-4 to run down. Rockfest is, but Rockfest sprints 4 very followed then by.
Linker's on first starter, over 1,200 metres in an RO, so he just took it straight from a mate. How is it? What? Who the hell's the favourite?
Bridgeport jump really battle for the lead.
Got speed.
Outside of Miss Jamada with leader. In fact, he's just started to edge his way up a little closer, coming to the turn to put the.
Oh, this was last prep, so this was last. Oh no, it was not that long ago. August and September. Geez, it's got a nice little lopey action, hasn't it? Looks like even further than a 1,400 metres going to suit it. Then what happened to it the other day? Missed a kick, or did he take it back?
Statewide missed the kick.
Dragged it back. Oh my God, what the hell was he doing on it first up? Giving it a barrier trial.
And Fiore has He's a Phoenix rolling. Then gave them the slip on the turn. Now King of Light, he's out after. He's a Phoenix.
Oh my God, what about the barrier trial he gave? It got a nice run through late, but it was act of God. Mile, absolutely a mile. Crystal Clear's got to be cast. Overpass, a very good horse. Who's the favourite in that race? King of Light. Back market closer.
Was about fourth out. Don't Wing began nicely. Country got his. So Hutton goes a mile away. Snitsalade raced up, hit the front. King of Light's absolutely flying with Mardusa. King of Light's the one. Artistry and Muffield too as they run down the side of the track now. Getting up. They are by 2 1/4 most of the way. Just Zoo Run getting held up. Talking goes a mile away. 150. King of Light's the one. King of.
It's obviously a nice horse, but I see like it's just there's too big a price discrepancy. It's got no speed, whereas at least the other one can hold a spot. I ran against it last start. Got the best run through you've ever seen in your life. Yeah, I agree. Like it rolls reversed. How the hell can it be favourite over it? If they draw gate 13 and 14 in the Guineas, they'll go forward on Rockfest and they'll go back on the other one and it'll settle well in front of it. And good luck trying to run it down. I agree. I agree. WA racing is the most rigged racing on the planet. Well, you need to watch Mauritius racing. And then you will change your mind. Mauritian racing is by far the most rigged racing on the earth. Osipenko sevens in any race in the world. I wouldn't back Osipenko at Wentworth Park. It was like 10 kilos in light in the worst race in history of the world and fell over the line last start. Yeah, I agree with the postie there. It's a big price. I'm still wanting to manage myself. I'm good. King of Light barrier 4. Oh, they've already pulled it. They've already done it. Missing Link is a Mauritian specialist. He doesn't look at the prices. He doesn't bet in the maidens. And he just prints. Why have they done the barrier draw for the WA Guineas already? And not for the railway? The King of Light drew 4, he drew 3. Wow, they're drawn next to each other, are they? 3 and 8. Good draw for the favourite. That'll help it. Tim Clark's riding in the race? Tim Clark's riding Osipenko? Harness racing, not great. No comment, but not great. What is Timmy going over there? What is he going? He's obviously going over there to ride Osipenko. Interesting. In the railway. He's riding My Authorita for Daniel Morton. Interesting. I wonder if he's riding anything for Miller, I'd be interested in it. Super bright. What is it, first up? I haven't seen it run for a long time. Thanks for that, Kate. I didn't realise. Tim Clark and Waller are solid. That'll be the day. That'll be the day. All right. I agree with Posty there. Rockfest should be closer in betting, $4 as opposed to 180 or whatever it is. Seems wrong. Cheers, guys. Very exciting meeting. Very exciting meetings to cover, but there's always something in there. Who's messaging me? Go away. I'm still jury out on those Posty. I'm trying to get them back, and doing them without footage and stuff's tough. But I might try and do one. Cheers, guys. Have a good night. Have a good week. Catch you soon. Bye-bye.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website